So Nietzsche had this view that, he had a problem with what he called the otherworldly. He had an issue with acknowledging the hereafter, and there were probably many reasons behind this. But one of the things I really wanted to highlight was, one of the things he suggested was the reason he had this view, this dislike, if you like, towards the otherworldly, was that he believed it took away from the experience of this life. Now, in line with this type of thinking, we have some atheists these days who claim that, look, you talk about life being meaningless and purposeless without God. However, if you really look at things, the fact that this life is all that exists makes this life even more valuable, even more meaningful. Whereas if you were to say that, look, there is an eternity to come, it continues for an eternity, that removes, if you like, the value and the meaning, or the desire and the want to make the most of this life, because you have forever, right? Now, on the surface, this seems like quite an interesting point. However, it's based on an assumption, and the assumption is that the life to come is exactly the same as this life, right? That there's not a specific relationship between the two where one may impact the other, but instead it's just a continuation. Hence, if that was the case, then I can understand this view that, look, there's no point to make the most of this life. There's no need to rush. There's no need to appreciate this life in any special way, because it just carries on forever, right? So I can understand it from that perspective. However, from the Islamic perspective, this whole idea breaks down, because we know this life that we've been given, we are here to be tested. What we do in this life will determine where we end up in the next life. So that's the relationship between this life, this physical material existence, and the life to come, right? So if we really understand that this life, as God says in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, that firstly He tells us that He did not create us for any other reason except to worship Him. And this ties in with the other understanding, which is that God put us here, He created life and death to test which of us is best in deeds. And one major aspect of the test is to see if, using our faculties and all the abilities God has given us, can we recognize our Creator, right? That if we were to live this life worshipping our Creator, doing good deeds, doing the best we can do, right, with the focus of attaining the afterlife, then we will be successful. So what I'm saying here essentially is, when you look at the philosophy of this life from the Islamic perspective, we are here to make the most of this life. This is the examination room, if you like. This is where we do the work. This life is in which we do the work. We put in the work here, and what we do here and how we do in this life will determine where we end up in the hereafter. Do we get eternal paradise, or is there eternal hellfire, right? So from that perspective, this life becomes even more valuable. It becomes truly valuable when you truly understand its purpose and its significance. However, from the atheist perspective, this whole life is all that exists. Yeah, fine, you may be able to give yourself some concepts which allow you to appreciate making the most of this life, because that's all you have. But at the end of the day, like I've said many times before, it all reduces down to nothing. It's all meaningless. Even the idea that we're alive and we're going to die and this is the only life we have, therefore make the most of it, this principle also becomes meaningless, right? It just makes no sense. So I just wanted to share those thoughts and put that out there, just so any atheist that has this confusion regarding this world and the other world, and what Muslims in particular may believe about this life and the life to come, just wanted to clarify these things. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Make sure to subscribe, click the notification bell. Until next time, take care.